Back in the early years of Tennessee Crossroads, we took you to a place in Rogersville called the Hale Springs Inn. It's been a landmark in that town since the early 1800s. But when the inn fell on hard times years ago, the people of Rogersville got together to save it. Well, Rob Wiles decided it'd be a good idea to take in the refurbished, restored, and better than ever Hale Springs Inn.
On one of the main streets through Rogersville sits the Hale Springs Inn, just as it has since the road was part of the stagecoach route from Washington, D.C. to Atlanta, way back in the early 1800s. And a Scottish immigrant decided that Rogersville needed a place for travelers like him to stop, a special place. That, according to Pat Wilkish, who works here, resulted in what is today the Hale Springs Inn.
It was John McKinney's idea to build a place large enough and ostentatious enough to draw the people that were coming in either by coach or by train to stay here at the inn. He was educated at the University of Edinburgh, Scotland, so I think his ideas for the inn are a lot of European type ideas. In early American architecture, you wouldn't see these big wide open hallways, you wouldn't see the height in the ceilings, you don't see just the wide spaces, it's just completely opposite of what you would find in a typical building that was built in 1824.
It wasn't long until McKinney's Tavern was a stop for weary travelers and other people looking to draw a crowd.
There's a lot of documentation that all three of them had given speeches out on a balcony that was out here at the time. And that was one of John McKinney's basic ideas. He wanted to have a place where all these politicians that were coming through would have a place to give a speech because they were always looking for some place. We were on the direct route from Washington, D.C. to Atlanta, so there was a lot of politicians passing through here.
Over the years, McKinney's Tavern became the Hale Springs Inn, and eventually fell on hard times until the people of Rogersville stepped in.
In 2001, the Heritage Association purchased the inn, and then they had it open for just special occasions. They would do weddings and stuff here. And then they realized that it was just going downhill too fast and they had to do something. So they started the big renovation project with the city, and it took them almost 10 years to get it to where we see it now. Being almost on the town square, it means a lot to a lot of people in the area. This is their history. Everybody in Rogersville feels like this is part of their history.
So much a part of their past, people of the area even pitched in to help furnish the place.
Some of the furniture, believe it or not, is basically kind of on loan to us. There are a lot of citizens in Rogersville that had furniture from that time period. They didn't want to sell them, but they've loaned them to the inn, so it's really added to the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. So that sort of adds to the municipal feel of the thing,
yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of people in Rogersville that feel like they own part of it. This is part of them.
As I stand here on the balcony of the historic Hale Springs Inn in Rogersville, Tennessee, my fellow citizens, where the greats such as Andrew Jackson and Andrew Johnson and other great Tennessee politicians have stood and made their political feelings known, I am moved myself today to make my feelings known, my ambitions known in this political year. And my ambitions are to go into dinner.
The inn has an upscale restaurant where you can try some dishes you might not get at most places.
This is the gazpacho. All the ingredients in here are from local farms here in Rogersville. The tomatoes, the cucumbers, the peppers. It also has some lump crab meat, some diced watermelon, that's local too, avocado, and some local cherry tomatoes on top with a little bit of olive oil. And a nice, light, refreshing, chilled summer soup.
Executive Chef Jimmy Ellis doesn't have to look very far to find ingredients for his dishes.
In Tennessee, a lot of people really support their local farmers, and they go out and, I deal with probably 5 or 6 farms from in the area, and they've all been really great, and I've gotten to know them really well, and that's really what I'm proud of, what I'm mostly proud of.
Good friends. You're here.
True to its beginnings as a tavern, you can still get a drink at the inn with old friends or with friends you've just met. It's sort of like being at home with friends. At least that's what visitors to the inn tell Pat Wilkish.
They tell us that they really love the atmosphere. It feels warm and it feels comfortable, and they feel like they're at home, that it's an atmosphere that you don't get in a sterile room where you don't have any place to sit. All of our rooms have chairs and a comfortable place to sit and relax, where you don't have to sit on the bed to watch TV or anything like that. So it's just a nice comfortable feel. And we treat our guests like they were our guests in our own homes.
Which makes sense, since the people who call Rogersville home have made certain this historic place, the Hale Springs Inn, continues to be a very vibrant part of their hometown.